Yo, 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 what up, man? It's your boy Vel.
Hey, what up? We back in the flesh.
Yeah, fake in the flesh though. From our
Yeah, I mean,
respect,
yeah, I mean, we
yeah,
still
from
here.
our respective houses, right? We are in the midst of transition period for a lot of reasons in the sports world, right? We got the Sabres about to get ready for playoff hockey. Shout out to the Sabres. I got to start off there, right? You know what I mean? For years, I've been beating up the Sabres for not, keeping me interested for extended periods of time. But the Buffalo Sabres have clinched a playoff spot since we last recorded. So definitely want to show him love. And I'm showing Josh Hart love too, because he's making clutch threes. I mean, who does Josh Hart think he is in this
Josh
game that
Hart.
I'm watching here? Yeah, Josh Hart of all people. But I will say on that Josh Hart note, he is the heart of this team come playoff time. So anytime I see Josh Hart able to show off some of his dog instincts in March and April, I love it. Villanova guy, tough nose, always hustling, rebounding the ball, much like Mitchell Robinson too. So shout out to Trucker Mitch. Yeah, Knicks is getting ready for the playoffs. Sabres obviously getting ready for the playoffs. The Bandits getting ready for the playoffs, and then last but not least, not getting ready for the playoffs, but getting ready for the draft is the Buffalo Bills. All right, so
The
again,
Buffalo Bills. Put some respect on
the
that
Buff-
D.
the
The one and
Buffalo
only.
Bills, and then we got the Masters. So it's a lot going on. But we're not gonna hold y'all too long on this episode because we have a wonderful episode coming up next week where we do our annual, which this might be our third or fourth year doing it. Mock draft in the
Back
basement. But
in the Bills Cafe, the one and
yeah,
only Bills Cafe.
one and only cafe. But I'm gonna go to UZ. It's been a while. So man, how you doing? Obviously busy man of the year, but been working
Yeah.
hard, man, on his health journey,
Hey.
professional journey, all types of shit, man. How you doing though?
Oh man, I'm hanging in there, dog. I'm holding strong, man. It's as the life of a real estate agent, man. This is the time of
Oh,
year when things start to pick up until the spring market and keeps me busy. And
boy.
I'm trying to keep this gym life going
Yeah.
down. I don't know, pushing 30 pounds. So we out here just trying to stay. What Big Pun say? I'm just trying to stay alive.
I'm just
So
trying to stay alive. Nah,
that's where
that's
we
real,
at,
man.
man.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah. And obviously I keep close tabs, being that I got you on social media, and I see you on a weekly basis now, not just through for the pie. We out here house shopping. So it's a lot going on though. And like you said, for those people who are in this season of change, whether it be professionally or like you mentioned, physically, doing some things to get right. The weather is starting to break. I mean, it was 66 here in Buffalo today, or at least the high today was 66 or 67. And then we know what that means, man. Middle of April is approaching. Easter done came and went quick, right? Now we talk about Mayflowers, we talk about June, July, and before you know it, it's kickoff time, baby. It's opening up the new stadium, and
listen, man. Every time I see a picture and a video of that stadium, like bro, when the media did that tour a couple weeks ago, and they all was dropping videos and pictures that day, I'm watching
yeah,
this. I'm watching that like, oh, yo, literally just a couple months away from that thing opening up, and
crazy. It's
I
crazy.
mean, this is the first time in my lifetime that we've gotten a new stadium. So this is my first
Yeah,
time to get to experience the new of what was to what is gonna be, and like just seeing this shots of it. I'm like, yo, this is one beautiful ass looking stadium. Like I
yeah,
cannot wait to get in there.
yeah. And for all the criticism, that some of us had, right? Dome or not dome, where the location.
Yeah,
It
big
is
it
a
was
beautiful.
big dome and no dome or downtown or not. Like that's what always the arguments
It's a
was.
beautiful, yeah, but it's a beautiful looking stadium, and and
Yeah,
and that's the thing
aesthetically it looks
I'm,
great.
I'm happy with, is that I knew that with them putting a lot of money into it, obviously some of our money too, but them putting a lot of money into it, I knew that they were going to try to make sure it looked top notch, right? They wasn't going to throw together Ain't no Goodwill looking stadium
Yeah,
and
they
just
weren't
say,
gonna
all right,
throw another
here,
new
damn,
era field out there. Like, here you go. Here's
right,
a new stadium. You're
yeah,
welcome.
not to hear nigga damn, you know. So
Shit.
looking good. It's about 85-90% done for those who don't know. I know they still got to put those buffaloes in the front, 27 feet. You know, the damn near looking like some type of Iron Man type statues in the front
I
with a
like it
buffalo.
though, bro. But it fits the aesthetics of the outside of the stadium.
Yeah, it's on some damn, some cranium type shit. So
I like that shit.
yeah, it's going to look good. And if you think about the fact that the Bills get about five to six primetime games a year, they've been averaging lately about 2 home primetime games.
Yeah, and them
Bro, that
joints gonna be
stadium gonna
lit
look
up,
amazing.
and that stadium gonna be lit up, man.
Oh man, that's gonna look amazing.
I
And then you go to the product on the field, man. You ain't got nothing but a future Hall of Famer out there playing quarterback, right?
yeah,
You know what I
it's
mean?
nothing.
Nothing crazy, just 17 out there wheeling and dealing. So a lot to get excited about. Like I said, and it's a good time to kind of enjoy this period, which we know we talk about the draft a lot, but because it's still months and months away. Like it's not like, oh my God, I gotta get ready. Where's my winter jacket? We still got 5 months, a little less than 5 months, but we still got 5 months till kickoff. So you still got time to enjoy the summer, right? You still got time to enjoy the spring. I know people like myself, I still got time to knock some more things off my bucket list before then, just so by what's the name? By the regular season, I'm looking to be comfy, right? New crib, new setup. Know what I mean? So we doing all that to make sure that's all in place by September. But on the real, again, go Sabres, because I know we end with that. Sabres, for those who don't know, broke their playoff drought for, I think it was 14 years. Was it 14?
Yes, sir. Longest drought in professional sports, North
Yeah,
American sports, with the
yeah. So they did
Jets.
that. So I don't want to skip past that and then give them 12 seconds. Like, and I'm the
Nah,
first.
listen. They deserve it. As a lifelong diehard Sabres fan, I've been waiting for this moment, bro. I graduated college last time they was in the playoffs, bro. 2011. Like, I was all of 21. I can't even do
Yeah,
the math. How old I was at that point, but like, it's
was
been a
that
long
for
time.
21, 22? But yeah, you was at Fredonia still
Yeah,
hitting the day.
that's the year I graduated Fredonia, 2011.
Yeah,
That was the last time they were in the playoffs. Was that year? So like, going against the Flyers, we lost in that series. So like, I've been waiting for this moment, but like the energy in that arena right now, it's just been crazy these last couple months. Just having a chance to be at a handful of games, you know, it's always been a football and hockey city, but when these teams are rocking, man, it's nothing like it. The arena's been crazy, the energy is crazy. Like, we've been dying for this team to get back at it, and now that they are, like, I really hope that this last couple games go our way so we can start the playoffs at home, because I know that arena is going to be crazy.
Oh yeah, 100%. And I just want to add this too, because I was having this convo with somebody. I'm like, this is a true sports town. Like
Oh yeah,
I don't even I don't even want to lay it on football, hockey, whatever. Because even if you think about the lacrosse side of things too, like the way that people support the Bandits, like at the
mm-hmm.
games when you go there, that excitement in that building. This is just one of those towns, cities where we're gonna embrace it, especially if the Monkeys is winning. Like, you know what I
Right.
mean? Like, we're gonna ride with you, we're gonna hope and pray that things turn around. Like you said, you've been hoping on this, hanging on this since he was in college. So like people don't give up, but it's like the buzz this town, like the pep in the step of this town when our teams are playing well
It
is
feel different.
yeah,
You can feel it.
yeah, and to be quite honest with you, and it's not to say I've been to every major city in the country. I feel like only 3 or 4 cities really know what that's like to have a town embrace teams, right? Multiple teams, the way that this city does. And a lot obviously has to do with it's the city that we're in, right? It's not like everywhere you go, there's thing to go to, right? It's not like there's events everywhere. You're not in Vegas, right? You're not in LA, you're not in Miami, where nightclubs 24/7, you go on the strip, you go bar to bar, and it's lights, camera, action. So being in Buffalo, of course, hey, it's a Sabres game tonight. You going to treat that like a major event. Hey, it's a Bills game tonight. That's your whole day. The Bills game is your day, right? You going to a Bandits game to a certain extent, that's your night, right? So, and basketball too. Shit, you go back to when college basketball was hot here, when our teams was playing well, whether it was UB. I know the Bonnies are always in it every few years, but I go to UB Bulls when they had their runs back to back with Nate Oates. How people were showing support for UB and their run in the March Madness tournament. So, shout out to the fans, right? Shout out to people like yourself who hung in there. Like I said, I was watching from a distance because I'm Buffalo through and through. So I want to see my teams do well, but it's like you not about to add to my stress, bro. I got the Bills ripping me to pieces. I got Syracuse being inconsistent. The Knicks, we already know what they bring. So it's like, yeah. So I'm like, Sabres, nah.
Can't add to the stress, man. But yeah, that's
but
my heart.
Yeah, but that's a part of it though, and that's why I think sports is sports, right? There's a reason why sports generate so much money around the world. Because I can't even say country, around the world, sports is just one of those things that, as people, and it starts at a young age, right? From families putting you on to certain things, but like sports is a major part of our lives. And one thing I could say, again, Buffalo, shout out to the fans, shout out to the Sabres, Bandits. And now it's time for Buffalo Bills to get on board. So speaking of the Bills, man, I don't want to spend too much time playing around. We already 12 minutes in. Look at us. It's 2 weeks, man. Less than 2 weeks, essentially, when this drops. So we 2 weeks away.
Yeah, literally 2 weeks. Yeah, 2 weeks will be the first first round Thursday night. So, yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. By the time this drop, we're gonna be real countdown. Yeah, we about, what I mean? We almost single digits away. And it seemed like it come and go so fast. That's why I really try to enjoy the draft. I think the last couple years I did a better job of really like embracing it, because when you got so much going on in your life, it's kind of hard, right? Like you just mentioned how much stuff you doing, how much stuff I'm doing on my end. So it's like, damn, you don't really get a chance to sit down, look at the magazines on some Dennis shit, right?
Yeah, I'm on some Dennis shit. Like I don't have the luxury to have 7 different draft magazines and just peruse.
You got stacks of magazines, got a magnifying glasses, highlighters. I may not get to that, man. Yeah, I ain't mad, but I may not get to that point this year. But I will say, I do enjoy the part where you're looking at the mocks, you compare. Oh, okay, so damn, that's 3 or 4 mocks now I've seen go wide receiver. Or that's 2 in a row where they're picking the same defensive tackle. So I won't go player specific, but going into day one, man, what's your gut feeling right now? As of we 2 weeks away. Gut feeling. Do you feel like Bills are going to trade back, or you think Bills going to really, go ahead and do something day one?
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard to say, man, because like at the end of the draft, like when you're drafting late first round, everything is so dependent on how the board falls. So like you just never, because you may have your heart set on a certain position, but if there's all of a sudden, if you want an edge, and all of a sudden there's a run on edge rushers right before you draft, what do you do at that point? You got to just completely pivot. So like it's always hard to say coming in, but I'm very curious what they have in mind, because again, trading a 2nd round pick for DJ Moore, now you're out of that 2nd round pick. Do you try to, trade out of your pick 26 to try to recoup a pick or two to kind of, fill that gap between 26 and then the end of round 3? So, my gut tells me trade back is what they will do, but I gotta think like if they probably have 1 or 2 players that may have 1st round grades still. by the time they
Yeah.
pick. Like if there's someone that you still feel have a first round grade, are they able to pass up on that?
Right.
And that's the thing. Like, are they going to pull the trigger because someone they love actually dropped, or are they going to be like, there's a couple players we like, but let's drop back a little bit and see. But like, it's the thing is crazy. Like on offense, I don't see them picking anybody in the first round but receiver. Like, I don't think there's any position even in play at 26. But defense, I feel like you can make an argument for multiple positions. You can talk me into saying edge. You can talk me into a linebacker. I mean, I probably wouldn't do it, but you can make an argument for it. If you made an argument for an edge, I'll listen. If you made a linebacker for an argument for a linebacker, I'll listen. You make an argument for a defensive tackle, I'll listen. Because like those are positions that still need to be shored up, or a starter or meaningful depth. Like those positions still are there. If you talk to me about a safety, I'll listen. Like pretty much everywhere on defense, I'm open to that conversation, short of outside cornerback. That's the only position at 26. I'd be like, all right, now you kind of wilding. But other than that, I think everything on defense is in play.
Oh, defense, yeah,
So
yeah.
everything on offense, I don't see the offense. I mean, if you say receiver, that's probably it. Anything else, I'm like, yeah, not 26. But my gut tells me if they stay in pick at 26, I feel like it has to be edge. Like
I would tend to think, right, and this is very broad, it's going to be front seven or wide receiver. I think there's no way around it, because
if I had to bet, I agree with you.
Yeah, I mean, because if you look at what they did in the offseason, and we're still in the offseason, but if you look at what they did in March, it was a little bit of something and a little bit of nothing, right? It was a couple spots here. Okay, we got our nickel corner. Shout out to D. Alford, right? We got a couple veteran safeties back there. You got to have your safety net. So boom, you bring back DeMar Hamlin and you get Geno Stone and CJ Gardner-Johnson. Cool, right? To go along with Cole Bishop, who we know is going to be a big part of this secondary. Max Harrison, Benford, we know they returning at outside corner, but you don't have a number 3 corner, especially on the outside. Okay, cool. Young safety, right? We know that could be potentially somewhere in the draft. Now, is that a day one need? I would not say so. If they got a excuse me, if they got a safety day one, I know there's the cat out of Oregon, who some people are feeling in love with. Yeah, as a first round prospect. Okay, I could fake listen, because yes, you got CJ on a 1-year deal, and I think Geno's is a 1-year deal as well.
Everybody outside of Cole is a 1-year deal.
Yeah, so like I could fake listen, but like I'm not knocking over the table to get a safety in round 1, just because safety is one of those positions, if drafted right and coached up, you can find you a gym in the middle, right? You know what I mean? Day 2-ish, 3, right? I think that's where we found a lot of our not great, but we found a lot of good secondary guys with the Bills over the last 7-8 years in the middle to late rounds. Benford, Taron Johnson, Cole Bishop was a day 2 pick. And I know I'm drawing a blank right now, but I'll just go.
Dane Jackson there. Come on, man.
Oh, messy.
So you're not gonna throw Dane Jackson. I'm saying though, you're talking about mid to late round picks. You got to throw Dane in there, right?
No, sir, no sirree, Bobby. I did have fake high hopes for DeMar Hamlin. I will say that. I remember coming out of Pittsburgh, I looked at his tape. I'm like, oh, this dude, you know what I mean? At least he a hitter, right? More than
DeMar Hamlin is such a strange player in the sense that he always is where he's supposed to be. He doesn't make a ton of plays that you'll sit there and be like, yo, what the hell is Hamlin doing? But he also doesn't make plays. Like, I can't believe Hamlin just made that spectacular play. He's
not a wild guy.
Yeah, he does what he's supposed to do as a depth safety.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing. That's why I wasn't so mad when they re-signed him to 1 year. I know that some of the fans were like, "Oh my gosh, here we go, DeMar Hamlin lifetime contract." I'm like, well, first off, he's cheap. Second of all, you always need depth
It's my
definitely your
fourth or
second.
fifth safety. Like
Right.
I'm not finding him
And
to start.
right, 100%. And you know what you're gonna get. And not to mention, he is a decent special teamer, right? Like you know he's gonna run down the field. Granted, I know he got hurt, in a collision when he did get
But
hurt,
and
but like,
no pun intended, he got hurt. Like you know what he's gonna bring to the field. So like when he signed him, I was like, all right, cool, whatever.
yeah, I didn't blink. Just
Yeah, I ain't
because
losing no sleep. I said, oh, okay, cool,
that,
another depth safety.
yeah, him along with Gino and CJ, quiet as kept. That's the best veteran safety trio or group that we've had in a long time, right?
Yeah,
Micah
I'm
Hyde,
not
Jordan
going into
Poyer.
the season nervous about the safety room at all. I'm going into the
Right,
season like, oh, we're good.
right, because
Barring
Micah Hyde.
injury, of course.
Yeah, right. We have no injury, but that's why you get that's why you get Gino. That's why you bring in DeMar. That's why you draft the safety, which I believe they'll still draft the safety. So like, I say that to say safety isn't my favorite or corner isn't my favorite, but I can see them day 2, day 3 addressing either or those positions. But I think day 1, if they stay put, or if they get aggressive and move up, you never know with being like, and that's the one thing I do want to throw in there. Like, it's wild that every year we go through the same thought process because we are always picking in the late 20s, right? That's the price you pay for being good.
Mm-hmm.
There's always that, I don't know, he could do either or he could do nothing. And I think that's the fun part with being is like, you don't know. The dude can move up 2 or 3 spots like he did to get Dalton Kincaid. And most people be like, I don't know if I would have did that for a tight end, but okay. Same thing with Kyer Elam. He went up a couple spot on, got him his corner, right? His corner, air quotes, and it was like, okay, I guess. So we never really know. And the crazy part is the insiders, they never really know either. Like how many times, like I meant to mention that, like how the Bills go about their draft process leading up. How many times have their mocks and like rumors been really true when it came to the Bills in the draft? Like Max Harrison was not on. Like I remember reading his name and seeing some of his stats. I'm like, oh, okay, cool dude, a little light, but okay. But there was no connections to him before the draft. It wasn't like the Bills really do like that Max Harrison corner out of Kentucky. Like there was nobody saying that, bro. Like it was them linking them to D tackles. We looked at a couple of D linemen. We talked about a couple of D linemen last year, but like corner, it was a little bit like Max ain't really come up like that. I will say
what were
that.
we looking at last year? We were looking at what receiver?
It was a few different things. I mean, I would love to go back and listen.
Yeah, like I'm trying to remember, like what were we on?
It was a mixture. It was corner for sure because we knew that the Tre'Davious White thing was kind of fresh. So we were like, well, Trey, yeah. But it was like
we were going in knowing like, yo, we need a corner. I think
right.
we had them on the corner train.
We knew they needed a corner, but it wasn't like a. I'm trying to think if we had a favorite. I'll have to go back and listen. I can't remember if I had a favorite or not.
Was I thinking like if Will Johnson fall because of the injuries?
Like yeah, Will was in the mix. But like even me, I was looking at like the D tackle, like it was a couple big ones, big body joints. I'm like, yo,
I want an old boy out of Michigan that ended up going to Miami. What's his name?
Yeah, Kenneth Grant.
Yeah, that's why I was like, yeah, it's like Kenneth Grant falling. That's all. If he on the board, I'm running. I'm running to the table with my ticket.
Yeah, but also one of my mid-round favorites was Deion Walker, so I was happy with that. Like I'm like, I kept running into Deion on my mock drafts, and I'm like, this 6'7", 345 dude. I'm like, if he dropped, I'll take him, and he dropped, and the man got an interception in the playoffs and had a very, very solid rookie year. So definitely happy with both Deion Walker. Max Harrison obviously dealt with the injuries, but when he came in, shucks, 3 interceptions, right? Like come on, for part-time duty, off an injury, your first pick from Patrick Mahomes. Like, come on, man. I think he has a bright future. You said what now?
So Aunt Fake called it before the game.
Oh yeah, and that's the thing I like about him though. Like I think he'll continue to mature as a corner in this league, on and off the field. And I'm not saying he got no real problems, but he'll continue to learn the game more, you know, because I mean Benford is so steady on the other side that like I feel like he can continue to learn more from Benford. He'll learn a lot from Jim Leonard, right? You know, him and Cole Bishop can kind of ride that same wave together, being young in the secondary, but also having to be starters and be leaders, right? Like, because now most likely you're gonna get a rookie corner. You're gonna get a rookie safety. So those young guys got to be leaders, along with Benford, along with CJ Gardner, leading in his own way. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they do. But I think my favorite idea to speed up this day one topic is I think I would have to agree that I would love an edge if one of the top 2 or 3 are there. Now I know a couple of those guys have been called Reptar, for the short arms, right? Howe and Bain. I think Bain's still going top 10, so I don't care what nobody can say. You can talk about his arms all you want. Yeah. Now, if he slide, I could see him going 14, 15 or something like that, end up with one of those mid-tier teams where they need a rusher and you just luck up and get him, and now you got a rookie with 14 and a half sacks. But you got the guy Howe, who I could see going into the 20s. There's a linebacker out of Georgia, CJ Allen. I'm not big on them really going middle linebacker in the first round, but if they do, I would understand it completely.
If they picked him, I wouldn't be mad just because the player I think is a top tier linebacker. So like, I don't have any issue with the talent. Like for me, when I'm thinking at the draft, I'm always thinking of which position makes sense here from a positional value standpoint. Like if I'm drafting in the first round, I want big ticket items. I want my expensive position so I can get them at a reasonable contract. I want obviously a quarterback in the first round, receiver, that's big money, cornerback, defensive ends, like those are the big expensive tickets. So like if I can get a high end prospect on a rookie deal, that's the ideal situation. So like that's why I couldn't draft a safety first round, because why am I paying this much money for a safety? Granted, not crazy money, but I can get a veteran safety for half the money.
Right.
Or I'm not drafting a running back in the first round, or I'm not drafting even defensive tackle, like unless it's a stud, like I don't want to put that type of positional value at the end of the first round.
Right. Yeah, no, I agree. Like I said, it's we talking about coming into this, you want to get a game changer. Just because right now we know, we always say this, with teams like Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, Philadelphia. When you pick in day one, day two, you are literally just trying to add that little extra bit of spice to your food, right? To your drink, right? You trying to, you know what? It's just missing a little something. So let me throw a elite edge rusher in there who got a decorated career in college, who I know ain't gonna be afraid of the big lights. Because when you come into Baltimore, when you come into Buffalo, Denver, I'll throw in Houston, a couple other these teams, but like when you come into one of these teams, bro, you got to be ready. Ain't no time for no. Well, we're gonna try to ramp him up. We're gonna see how he looks when we throw the pads on, bro. I ain't trying to hear none of that. And I don't even think Joe Brady and them run like that. So that's the thing I'm excited about too. I think Joe Brady and Jim Leonard, they kind of cut from the same cloth. Whereas like they want players that's coming in ready to pop. And you can kind of see that with some of the guys they picked up. D. Alford in Atlanta. He was known as a feisty corner who just made plays and was always around the ball. Geno Stone, always around the ball. CJ Gardner Johnson, always in somebody's face and always around the ball. So like there is some type of, a little bit of a cadence that we're starting to see.
Yeah, and the thing that, my bad, you go.
No, go ahead.
No, and I was just speaking on that. And the part that's interesting for me is, with a potential overhaul, maybe overhaul is too strong of a word, but definitely a philosophy shift on the defensive side, it's very interesting to see that they haven't done much on that side of the ball outside of the secondary.
Right.
Like they brought in safeties, but they haven't brought in any linebackers outside of, Chubb as an edge.
Oh, right. Outside of Chubb.
Yep. And so I'm like, okay, so what's the plan? Do we gotta have faith in what's already there? Because again, last year you put in 2 relatively high picks on defensive tackles. So I mean, and then another relatively high pick on an edge player. So I mean, you have Deion Walker from last year. You have a second round pick in TJ Sanders from last year, third round pick in Landon Jackson. So we can't just act like those picks never happened. Those are high picks.
I'm glad
So
you
I
mentioned.
guess a lot of us expected to have more free agent signings, but are they putting a little bit more faith than we expected to in these players that were drafted for a different scheme to fit in this one? So like I'm very curious because I think once this draft starts, we'll see like kind of what their plan is. If they don't really address those positions early, it's like, oh, okay, they really have some faith in these young players.
Yeah, and I'm glad you brought up those other two D linemen who we didn't mention before, because that's a big question mark for I think a lot of fans who want to see this 3-4 or this new defense come together. Is what does the fit look like for Landon Jackson? Right, I know he can be one of the 3 down linemen. Right,
Yeah,
his
I feel
body
like they're
set.
gonna have him bulk up
Yeah,
and
yeah,
play that
6'5",
five tech.
280.
Oh man,
Yeah, he already 285, 290. So it's like, bro, just add maybe 5, 10 more pounds and you good. Same thing with TJ Sanders. I can see him on the end. I can see him
mm-hmm.
just mixing it up, right? So it's like, are they prepared, right, to be in the trenches of this new defense? Because this defense is going to be all about attacking. And I don't need nobody that's there just to be taking up blocks, right? Just there, just standing in place, getting pushed back. Like
Right.
I think again, we'll know more in the next 2 to 4 weeks because we know even after the draft,
Yeah,
honestly,
still
even slightly
vets.
before the draft, they normally get like 1 or 2 vets in the building. You know what I mean? Bills is they good for that, right? I know a couple other teams do the same thing, but the Bills is good for like it'd be like the Tuesday before the draft. They'd be like, all right, we're gonna re-sign Trey White. And we'd be like, oh,
Yeah, and I
okay.
think that's something that's on the table, whether before or after. I
Yeah,
mean, I wouldn't be surprised a lot of time we get a notification that Shaq Thompson
yeah, Shaq.
re-signed or Trey Wright re-signed. I think both of those are highly logical plays
Very
that are there. Because I mean, someone that has familiarity with the staff, with the players. If you say Shaq Thompson's in the mix at middle linebacker, I'm like, all right, bet. You say
I'm old.
Trey White is the third corner behind Benford
Or at worst, number 4.
and Harrison, right? Or four. It's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, like
So,
and
yeah,
and
there's
that's
definitely some vet signings coming.
oh yeah, it's gonna be some stuff coming. That again won't move me either way, right?
Yeah,
I mean,
and
if a
then I
group,
think another D tackle is definitely needed somewhere because again, we haven't addressed that at all. I mean, only person we got at D tackle right now at some point is Deion Walker, which I think he has the flexibility to even go outside more on the edge too. Like I don't think he's just a primary D tackle. I think he has some flexibility in this 3-4 scheme. And what for Darian Mathis, like I think they definitely need a vet in the middle of that defense too.
Mathis, he good on the practice squad, but I don't need him as my backup tackle.
I
No
don't know.
disrespect.
Like
I'm not
again,
Go ahead.
yeah, no, as someone who's a former second round pick who played at college at a high level in a similar 3-4 attack oriented defense, like I'm giving him a shot to actually, work his way into that rotation.
Especially with a new coaching staff. Look,
Yeah, like he got
yeah,
the skill set, he got the talent. So like I'm not gonna blow it off as nothing. And they made it a priority to re-sign him early before free
yeah,
agency even started.
yeah. I think they see him obviously a lot more than we do. As I always say, like when you behind the scenes and you talk to coaches in the building, they know what kind of guys they got, right? Like, being all them evaluators, they like, excuse me, listen, they talking to the coaching staff like, listen, I know y'all kind of fresh to seeing some of these guys, but that's a guy you probably want to have on your, coming in the training camp at least. Like I said, we'll battle, but that's one of those guys you probably gonna want to see how he looks in your defense. So, I was halfway joking because it's like, yes, I would like a more seasoned veteran to be in that mix at defensive tackle. And when I say seasoned veteran, I'm talking about a guy who's played in this league at a high level at D tackle. I mean, DJ Reader, we know his name was thrown around. We know there's a couple other D tackles I think that's still out there, but we'll see. Because I still think that this draft, especially early, got some D tackles who could be game changers, right? The guy out of Ohio State, whose name is escaping me right now, I think he'll be a decent pickup if he's available at 26, which I think he will, because I think the most drafts, especially recently, D tackles don't really fly off until late first, second, right? Like they unless you find a Jalen Carter somewhere, which I don't
I'm
think
gonna
this
say
draft.
unless you Philly, because I
Yeah,
think back-to-back years
right.
they went
They don't
Georgia
care.
D tackles and
Yeah, but like there's no tackle in this draft to me that's going top 10, top 15. So like that leads me to believe the first defensive tackle is getting drafted in the 20s. So again, if one of those guys who they feel like fits what they're doing, because obviously fit matters, I wouldn't be surprised if it's a D tackle. Like I said, address the front seven, and I know they will. It's going to be veteran signings over the next 4 weeks, and it's going to be rookies that's going to fill out the rest of those front seven questions that we have, because we know they got bodies right now, like you said, Landon Jackson, TJ Sanders, Dwayne Carter, Ed Oliver, Deion Walker, Michael Hoyt, Bradley Chubb, Terrell Bernard, Dorian Williams, Joe Andreessen. There's bodies, but we
but
need
how do
more
they
than
fit?
bodies.
Yeah.
Right. We need more than bodies. We need a plan, and we need guys that's going to fit, because like I said, the back end is already showing me what we about to really get to.
Yeah. And that's the thing. We just don't know what Jim Leonard, what he wants his defense to look like and what he thinks about the players we currently have. Like, does he think like, yo, I can actually work with these players, or are they thinking like, hey, look, we don't have what we need, but we stuck with these players for the next year or two. All right, what can we do to get by? Like, we don't really know, but I think the next 2 weeks, upcoming to the draft, and then a week or so following it with some vet signings, we'll have an idea of what they actually think.
And the one thing I'll hit home again, because I'll say it again next week, and I'll say it the week after the draft when we do our post draft analysis. I think it's really going to be see ball, get ball. That's going to be the style. It's going to be attack, see ball, get ball. I need players who, when that ball is out there, when that ball is snapped, I'm on you.
Sound like you want Dorian Williams to start.
I mean, listen, I heard him talk on the radio about this last month, and the caller.
That's the type of player that you just described, though.
100%. That's the type that I think he's a Jim Leonard guy. So one way or another, whether he's starting or not, Dorian Williams is on his team. So listen,
bro, if I'm banking on him. I'm probably throwing a extension out right now to him. Not crazy money or anything like that, but like I think this guy can do something. And let me get my man under contract right now before he can outplay a contract and actually earn him some big money. Like, all right, throw him a little something, because I think the attacking, it's 100 miles an hour for him at all times.
Yep.
And if he's freed up from all the different roles and calls he had to do with I don't want to say more structured, but a less read and react style defense under McDermott to a more free flowing attacking style and under Leonard, like if this frees him up to just go, then shit, let that man just go downhill and work.
Man, listen, don't get me going, because I really think though this is like a potential, and we'll see what they do in the draft, potential breakout year for Dorian Williams, because again, we already just kind of hinted at it. We're trying to see what he wants, but if the secondary is telling me anything, it's going to be get after the football. Get after the football, and to me, that's Dorian Williams. Now, don't get me wrong. I will add this before we, wrap it up with, any surprising things we may see later, and then we can close it out. But like, I will say this. I would like to give one more chance and not completely close the chapter on Terrell Bernard, because I do feel like a healthy Terrell Bernard, like real healthy, not the I'm gonna give him my best, like he did last year. A healthy Terrell Bernard, where he's not just having to shed through all of the BS to be that middle linebacker. Like if he can just play in space and do what he do, which he has great instincts for the football. I would like to see that, because I do feel like we talked about it before. If you watched him at Baylor, or if you just watched his highlights at Baylor, he was a guy that got after it, right? And 20 tackles, 18 tackles, 2 sacks.
Yeah,
like
great blitzer.
Yeah. So it's like I don't want to rule him out as
I listen. I don't either. And plus, I mean, this is the first year of his new extension too, so they got to figure out a way to make this work because
well,
like they can't just off this contract and eat
I
all that
get
dead money. But if this scheme can keep him cleaner and he
that's
doesn't have to get washed up in the big men with the guards and the centers, and they can just keep him clean.
yeah.
Again, he's from an attacking style defense playing at Oregon, so like this schematically fits his skill set really well, but one, can you come back healthy? Because last year, I mean, just looking, he was
Nah,
running on one leg. Like you can
yeah.
just see, like, yo, that leg is just dragging. He's not there. But if he
Yeah,
can come back
Warriors, they
healthy,
want
he got so much to prove.
yeah. And I hope again, I hope he can get back fully healthy, like really take the time, like, and this is the perfect time, right?
I
But
mean, he
I
had the
hope,
surgery.
right, I hope, and I ain't see him in no pictures at the what's the name recently, because he probably like shit. I'm gonna take every bit of time off I can, but I really hope to see him out, come July, yeah, really come July. Forget June. Come July, I would really like to see him out there fully healthy so that we can really evaluate him for the true player who I think he is. I mean, he was named a defensive captain or, one of the captains of the team for a reason. Not because vocally he's that guy, but like as a player, he was just a leader and he led by example, right?
Yeah,
A man of
sure.
few words, but he led by example because he just made plays. And I would love to see that because I remember I went from criticizing him 3-4 years ago to being one of his best supporters. I was ready to get the number 8 jersey. I'm like, man, TB, let's get it. And then, you know what I mean? Injuries and all of that, his play slid. But again, that's something that we got to keep an eye on. Linebacker, edge, D tackle. Even if it's a DN, I wouldn't be surprised. I just think it's going to be front seven or wide receiver. We'll get more into the skill positions next week. I feel like because there's some wide receiver, there's some intriguing wide receiver
Yeah.
prospects. I mean, it's
So
not
now
like
that you mention that, but
yeah,
before we wrap up, I want to ask one last question. So, not naming any names, right? I'm just putting a hypothetical scenario. Say at 26, your top receiver, your top edge, and your top, I don't know, defensive tackles there. Which direction are you going?
that's tough. The way the Bills are currently, that's when you weigh and this is why the draft process is so fun for GMs and evaluators, because I feel like that's when you go to that value chart, right? Because you have to have a value chart. So me personally, I would go right to my value chart and say because you got to have all those scenarios laid out.
Mm-hmm.
Where do we have the value? Where do we have the value of defensive tackle at for the first round? Okay, that's high. Okay, so it's a 9 out of 10, right? Wide receiver 7 out of 10. Let's say edge, I got that at an 8.5 out of 10. So in my mind, realistically, if I'm in charge, wide receiver is probably number 3 on that list, just because I'm coming in with DJ Moore, and it's not that DJ is 24, but I got DJ Moore, I got Khalil Shakir, who is still pretty young. I got Josh Palmer. I got I know I'm gonna miss somebody. I got Keon Coleman and who's the number 5 receiver I'm thinking about now? Shit.
I mean, that's pretty much it, unless you're talking
Okay,
about like
I say those are my
flavor.
main 4 right now. So I'm not saying I'm like, oh, I'm rock solid, but I got 4 guys who I can run out on the field tomorrow if I wanted to, right? At D tackle, we talked about it a little bit, but I got one for sure. And I got another guy I hope potentially can maybe fill one of my backup roles. If I look at edge, I got Bradley Chubb. Greg Rousseau is going to kind of play the hybrid edge role, whatever. So I'm like, okay, yeah. So I'm looking at positions like that, especially when it comes to the front seven. I'm saying, man, how dynamic is this edge that's still on the board? Because he might be number 1 on the board, but is he dynamic? Right? Same with D tackle. He might be the number 1 D tackle on the board, but is he a game changer? So to me, it would all come down to, out of these 3, not only where do I value them at, but also are they going to change the game and the script enough for me to say I need that? Because some people at receiver, they might say if it's KC or if it's Cooper out of Indiana, they might say, you know what? Like, if you throw them in the pot with Khalil and DJ, woo-wee. But then they might say, well, if Howe's on the board, or if this defensive tackle out of Ohio State on the board, it's like, can't pass it up. So I say all that to say, I went around in a circle. I would probably go D tackle, but it has to be a defensive tackle who I firmly believe can be a starter or a major piece in that rotation on the D line, and really elevate the play of the entire defense. Because if I don't feel that way, then I need to either go edge or wide receiver. Because if that wide receiver, I will come back to the skill real quick though. If that wide receiver is good enough to crack my top three, that's going to push back Palmer and Keon to the 4 and 5, then I might have to go wide receiver. So it's a lot of gray areas with that, but I would say whoever you pick, you have to feel, because that's a great scenario, man. If you got the best, if you got your best, I shouldn't say the best, because at 26 you're not going to get the best. But if you got your best at the top of each of those positions, you got to really go from a standpoint of who gonna make an impact, the most impact out of that three, and then go from there. But how would you answer your own question?
Yeah, I would say for me, I think D tackle would be last on my list out of that three. If I'm looking at edge, D tackle, receiver, D tackle is probably the bottom of my list, just because I'm thinking at 26, right? If I need a if I'm going D tackle first round, I need somebody that's gonna be on the field down in and down out. And I feel like it's hard to find that game-changing D tackle late first round. And even just looking at the prospects that are there, I don't see one that can affect the game as a run stopper and give me that pass rushing ability. And if I can't get that in both players, or get both those traits at a high level in one player, I can grab somebody to stop the run later in the draft. So like for me, D tackle is probably at the bottom of my list. It's probably really neck and neck from an edge and receiver standpoint. Because one thing we don't have is we don't have that soon as that ball is snapped, a get off and go dude on the edge. We got more power rushers than anything. Bradley Chubb and Russo. Yeah. I mean, these are strong, long-armed, really push the pocket just from power and speed power. We don't have that.
Change your game plan.
Right. We don't have that edge, that fast dude on the edge that'll bend that corner, drop the shoulder, and just get around your tackle. So if there's someone that fits that mold at 26, it'd be hard for me to pass up. But at the same time, I think what is the most unstoppable force to me, and it's scoring points. If I have another top tier weapon that I can add to the DJ Moore, that I can add to the Khalil Shakir and the Dalton Kincaid, that's a skill set that's not currently on the team. I don't think I can pass that up.
Yeah.
So like in my head, if a KC Conception is there at 26, I would have to be like, yo.
Any return kicks too. So that's
another thing, another added element that we need.
KC tough. That's a tough one right there. And he was born in Rochester. Whew. Yeah, that's a tough one.
If he's available at 26, I'm like, look.
Yeah, I don't want to get myself mad.
I don't care what else is on the board. I don't care who else is there.
Yeah.
That's going to be one if Cassius Howell is there. I don't care if the D tackle. I don't care who there. If Casey's there at 26, I'm sprinting to the podium, handing in that ticket, and now I done made it way harder on defensive coordinators, because now at that point I gotta first of all figure out how to stop Josh and James Cook in the backfield. But now I can bring DJ Moore out, Conception out, Shakir out, A Palmer out there as my fourth receiver. That makes that room way more dangerous, and not even missing what Dalton can do.
Whatever I want with Coleman, because he can be on the field. He don't have to be on the field. He can be red zone. He can be whatever. But
it doesn't matter. But now Coleman's my fifth.
Yeah.
All right. He's still cheap, so like shit. If he sit there and fit till his contract run out, so be it. If he steps up and can stay on the field and provide some value. But again, now that's my fifth receiver. That completely flips the room.
It's good.
That puts a ton of pressure on the opposite team. So like I want to do something we haven't done. We went after edge before. Like we've went after tackle. Like what we haven't done is got that pound for pound bona fide stud in the first round. Yes, we got Keon Coleman with the first pick of the second round. We ain't put that first round trigger on the receiver yet.
Yeah.
You got Josh in his prime. Get that man as many weapons as humanly possible and let that man cook.
All right, man.
That's 100% where I'm at this point.
Like I said, we went from two opposite sides, but like at the end of the day, I think the conclusion is get the most impactful player you can get.
Get you a game record in some fashion. Who can impact the game?
Like I said, I can understand the argument with the D tackle being like from a standpoint of like, oh, he a run stuffer. Oh, okay, that's cool. Or oh, he got 4 sacks last year in college. Okay, that's cool. But this guy can get me 11 touchdowns in the season next year. Or this guy can return a kickoff for me and make a game-changing play in a wild card game where Josh throws the ball 7 yards, he takes it 60. So I get all sides of it. Like I said, I'm always day one, just get me a damn game breaker, right? I know last year, cool, it was boring because it was like, oh, we got a corner from Kentucky. And though his personality was bright, getting a corner is like, oh, okay, we got a corner, right? But when you get a wide receiver, right, you get a skill guy.
Now you got a new toy.
Yeah, that's a toy, right? You know what I mean? It was like when we got Kincaid, it was like people were 50-50. I ain't gonna lie, because I remember that was the year we were supposed to get a wide receiver, you know, but JSN went early. Jordan Addison went early. So it was a lot of receivers that went on receivers. So they had to get the next best thing, which was get the best tight end on the board. Mind you, that was a great tight end draft. So there was a lot of tight ends after Kincaid that ended up being successful in the league and that are still pretty darn good, right? You know what I mean? There's about 4 or 5 of them. But again, when you can add more weapons for Josh Allen, who is arguably, if not the best quarterback in the league, top 2, top 3. So, like, if you can give him whatever you can give him to give him that extra edge over the Pat Mahomes, the Lamar Jacksons, the Joe Burrows, because we already know Joe Burrows, since he come out, every year they got the 2 best 1-2 combo in the league on the outside with T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. They doing that every year. They like, okay, cool. Y'all got nice looking corners. Have fun. Because I'm ripping the field up and down and I'm making y'all guard them every blade of grass. And the Bills really haven't had that, right? Since Eric Modes and Peerless Price. Let's call it what it is. You know what I mean? The Stephon Diggs, Gabe Davis era was nice because they had a lot of different guys, right? Cole Beasley, Emmanuel Sanders the one year, Isaiah McKenzie running around. That stuff was cute, right? John Brown, shout out to Smoke. But like we haven't had a 1-2 since Eric Modes and Peerless Price. And obviously that was short-lived because Peerless Price went and got his money in Atlanta. So we'll see. And we got less than 2 weeks to find out. So that's the beautiful thing is that day one is approaching. Will the Bills end up doing something like trading back, and then we all sitting there like, well, I guess we'll wait for day 2. They did it before.
It makes sense, but God, that's so anticlimactic, dog. You sit there the whole night waiting, and all of a sudden, like womp womp.
Bro, you stay up that late. You just like really? Because I remember that day. This was just 2 years ago when they
left till 11:30 off for them to trade. I'm like, man, I could have been asleep.
Bro, I still remember that day like it was yesterday because it was literally a couple years ago. I remember how pissed I was going to sleep. Like literally, I'm like, nah, y'all don't understand. I'm over 30, 35. I think I was 35 that year. So I'm like, you had me in my role.
Because the first trade back, I'm like, all right, cool. It's only a couple picks back. We still gonna get our pick. And they traded again. I said, oh, y'all playing.
For Keon Coleman. But all good, man. We done got close to 55 minutes. So won't really
put a bow on it.
Right. We won't go into depth today, but we did have a good conversation about day one. Obviously start off the spot talking about obviously other things that's going on around the city. But again, we want to say shout out to y'all for being patient with us in the offseason. The offseason is busy. right? We got life going on. We got life going on and life going on, but we got the draft coming up, so we thought it was important to get back to it next week. Like I said, we'll be at the Bills Cafe, joined by Dennis, the magazine expert, as he highlights and pencil marks and pen marks all over his stuff to give us his thoughts. And yeah, we're gonna get ready, man. We are days away. Yeah, I mean, I would say weeks, but man, let's just call it days. We are literally a few days away from the noise. Oh, I will end it with this too, because this was funny. Dirty Diana. Ah, man.
Listen, man. I forgot all about that. Look, you know what suck about it though? Is she's the only one that's truly getting dragged through this. Like Vrabel's getting out of this scot-free. And that's the part I'm like, dang.
It is, yeah.
But listen, listen, I didn't see like a what's I want to say, like a compilation of photos at first. The first one, all I saw was the two of them laying poolside. I'm like, oh, that, I mean, slightly sketchy, but I'm like, okay, they just chilling at the pool. But then I saw the joints when they fingers interlocked. I said, oh. Yeah, because I said, listen, you go home and try to explain to Ev why your fingers interlocked with a coworker.
Right. Like, that's not a handshake, right? It's one thing to come in, a quick hug. Like, we know what a church hug look like. All that.
What is this? What is this, bro? What is this? Y'all embraced. I said, oh hell no.
There's no video, so now you really got to explain, because there's no video, so you can't tell me how long y'all were holding hands. So now you got to tell me. So how long was your hands like that though?
And it's both hands. It's not even one. It's both hands. I said, hold on.
Why is there multiple images? Because now that mean that now you're hanging out, hands on the stomach.
And that's the picture. I'm like, yo, you can't justify that picture. Even if there was other friends around, they said, well, it took it out of context. There's 6-7 other people. Okay, whatever.
I said, where the leg at?
What that got to do with this?
Yeah, with that, right.
What they got to do with this, dog? I'm not hearing none of that.
Yeah, and you always looking around for like where the feet, at least I ain't even see a purse on a chair. I ain't see a baseball cap anywhere else. It's like y'all look pretty by yourselves for it to be other people around, right? Listen, like normally,
I'm waiting. Like they put out a little statement like it's nothing, yada yada. Explain this, because who cool with this? Who cool with their husband or their wife in an event, fingers interlaced with anybody in the work environment?
Yeah. We gotta have a convo, or it's just straight to the apology. Like I heard somebody, I think they was on a podcast or something. They was like, it might have been like Mason and boys, they'd be funny, but they was like, yo, that's one of those you just gotta be straight up like, yeah, that was me. I'm sorry. You got to take whatever come with that. Like, you just got to apologize, and whatever the result is after that, you got to deal with it. And now, whatever you say publicly, cool. But to your spouse though, in private, that's a convo that you just you want to couch for a while. And not only is you on the couch for a while, I don't even know how you really. I mean, yes, these motherfuckers got millions. I get it. But like, and that's the only thing really saving Braves. I will say that part. Like, I know most people ain't gonna really speak on his behalf, because that's how men and women are treated in society. We know that. It's unfortunate, but women will get the majority of slander when it comes to these situations than men. Men get looked at as, oh, hey, nigga, dog, you wildin', boy. Women is like, oh. But then I will say this: Diana didn't make it any better, because, like the internet does, they start pulling out
every last video out, and I'm like, yo, you've been dragging your own husband,
right? And that's the thing. Like, you got to know your platform.
Yeah, and if you're doing it unprompted too, like first of all, you even bring your husband into the conversation, and you just like, yeah. I mean, I'm married to somebody average. If I was married to somebody beautiful, I'm like, yo, why my man catching strays?
Yeah.
You talking about Get
And you saying
divorced
this on
and your
shows
mom
with
don't
other
like it
men.
all that?
But listen, you
Right.
saying that with shows with other men. Like, it's one thing if you want one of them girl T shows where y'all giggling around. Like, oh my God, y'all know how boys
Listen,
be.
hey,
You want to
can I
show
be
with
real?
other.
If I'm a dude and I'm one of them other dudes on that show and I hear that joke and I'm
It's like,
single or something,
yeah,
all,
it's like
all
copy.
antenna, oh word,
Big antennas. Heard you.
That's how you feel. Okay,
Heard you.
invite or not, that's what I heard in my head. Okay,
And that's what you're saying on air. So what is you saying off the air? So you know what I mean? When you put all that together, it's like you were bold enough to say, like you were bold enough to dog your husband on live podcast, live TV. What are you saying and what are you doing off the air when you going to Miami, when you going to Nashville, right? Because they done already broke. Like, oh, you was in Nashville.
I can't get that, bro. What is this? Listen, I have never interlocked two sets of hands to a friend. I got plenty of female friends. I've never interlocked fingers in that manner. We looking eye to eye and we locked in. Nah, bro.
Yeah. Nah, it's more.
You don't do that to somebody you're not smashing.
Not, and that's the main point, bro. That's beyond flirting. That's y'all got something going on. Yeah. And every person who has ever crossed that bridge or any person who's ever dated, they know what that's about. You're not flirting at that point because y'all both married. Like, that's beyond it because you done crossed the line. Like, if you touching each other like that, you've already crossed the line that you know you're not supposed to cross. That just meant they felt so comfortable. They ain't nobody around that they like, man, ain't it. But
that ain't the first time the fingers been interlocked.
Right. And that's what that means. It's like, this is not no first rodeo. You know what I mean? You go from doing that to you got a completely different outfit and y'all in the pool. So y'all just gonna stay. Y'all just going, you know what I mean? Because y'all feel like nobody care. Nobody watching us out here. We 200 miles away from Phoenix. We good. Like we bulling.
Rooftop. We good.
Yeah, ain't no cameras until you realize that there are people out there that will investigate your
Listen,
ass.
if I'm her husband, why are you even at the pool with this nigga? Yo, what is you said you was at such and such for the such and such. Why are you even in this part of Arizona?
Yeah, so
and why you with him?
This why you ain't want to share your location. Matter of fact, you shared your location, but this why you ain't want to pick up. All right, say less. Yeah, ain't no but on the flip, like I said, I hate that we say this for last, but on the flip, you see the silence from other people on both who not talking about either or like trying to joke around it and like not really dive into it. It lets you know a lot of these reporters know because these reporters travel with the teams, they travel with the players, they get to know a lot of these other reporters, these other players. They know it be some funny shit going on. That's why
that's like, ain't nobody saying nothing because like everybody got dirt on everybody.
Right. And that's why I'm like, you know, I close my mouth because I'm like, I know some reporters and I'm like, I don't even want to hit them up because I don't even want them telling me nothing that's going to make me have to close my mouth. So I'm just like, okay, I see the quietness around. I ain't got to say nothing. Even from the Buffalo side, I'm looking around. I'm like, oh, y'all ain't not even sharing, not even a repost, right? Not even a GIF or anything. Y'all just all quiet. Everybody quiet. From ESPN down to your local news. It's just the main people that comment is people who ain't got nothing, like really nothing, no ties. Like, you know what I mean? The Camerons, the boom boom, like people who can really talk shit. Like, I mean, you know, you got the people from pro football, but like you see the silence, and that lets you know what you need to know about these athletes, these players, reporters. They do a lot of stuff behind the scenes. And a lot of times they're like, oh, we in the clear, you know, we having a good time. Man, and the last thing I will say, I thought about this too. That also kind of lets me know that Diana probably knows some shit too on other people. So she might come out. To her like, I got
shit. You come on, people talking about release the Epstein files. I'm trying to hear the Brucini files.
They said Diana got a whole man. Listen,
that's not a good look at the end of the day, though. But even from a professional side of look, and like as a professional, I still feel like there should be certain lines you don't cross. Like, yes, you have to interact with these people on a daily, so there is some form of professional relationship, and I'm sure some of them do bleed over to a perfect personal relationship. Because like you work, and there's some people you just vibe with. Like even though we're working, like outside of work we can go have a drink or go do this and be cool. But there's certain lines that aren't supposed to be crossed. So you as a national reporter, this shouldn't be happening with people you're covering.
Yeah, especially to that.
Yeah, you just crossing professional boundaries.
Listen, especially when you get it to that level, because like you're an adult, we can't tell you what to do with your free time. Like you said, you in another city, you in another place, you covering a team. If you want to get drinks, you get drinks. Oh my God, whatever. But when you get to the point where you really building a relationship with that coach, and you building a relationship, because that's essentially what they got. They got all that is right there. That side girl, side dude relationship shit.
That's my work husband.
That's not a one time. We have a relationship on the side, and we comfy on the low. And we've been at this since you was in Tennessee type shit.
Yeah.
Like that's what it is. And like you kind of said, at what point do you realize like, yo, we kind of wilding? Like at some point you got to sit back and be like, yo, we gotta chill. But if you get away with it over and over and over and over again, guess what? You not stopping, because you like, we getting away with it. We getting away with it. Who gonna stop us? Until somebody peep game and they say, you know what? I got something for you. Oh, you say you going where, babe? Babe, have fun. Have a safe trip. Babe, you don't even gotta call me when you get there. Just have fun. Like you deserve it. Going to Arizona, you deserve it, babe. I'll talk to you in a little. I'll talk to you later, babe. Mind you, now he got a homie following the whole shit. You know, okay, I got you.
Bro, I can't get past the
hands.
This is what gets me, bro. Like it.
I really feel like it was the husband. I don't even think it was the wife. I think it was the husband who, because now they trying to say, well, maybe ESPN hired somebody. No, I think the husband was sick and tired of the bullshit, and he said, I'm gonna hire somebody because your ass be doing too much sneaky shit, and I'm gonna get your ass. And I don't trust Fred gonna be there, because maybe she even told him like, yeah, Fred gonna be there, a couple other people, and that was probably his go-to. Like, oh, so you just gonna play in my face?
Oh, word.
You just gonna play in my face? Like I don't. Okay.
Yeah, but he not catching nothing. I feel like he ain't catching no heat out of this.
That's society, unfortunately.
Yeah, man, that's it. But again, she made it hot on herself, making all these damn.
Yeah. She made it worse
about her husband already. So like,
you gave us too many layups. Like the way the internet gave us.
Listen, anyway, when there's smoke, there's fire.
Yeah, we going crazy. So listen, y'all, we appreciate y'all. For real. This ended up being one of those extended ones that ain't even meant to be extended.
There's no reason this video should have been an hour and 8 minutes where we at. What are we on?
I couldn't leave without the
like Diane right now, man.
Nah, I know. Gossip girls and shit. But now we off this though. Listen, y'all. You in the zone with V and Z. You gonna catch us next week, like we said, in the basement. Do our little mock draft, probably go through 3 rounds and such. And yeah, we look forward to it. Enjoy this process. It's only, like I said, less than 2 weeks away. So enjoy each day. This is Val.
And it's Z. We're going to catch y'all next week in the cafe.
Peace out, y'all. Peace.